Some stories are whispered in the dead of night, tales of figures who stepped out of the shadows and into our nightmares. These aren't just criminals, they are legends. Their names are etched into history, their deeds forever changing the way we see the world. Tonight, we journey into the heart of darkness to uncover the crime legends whose stories shock the world. Our first story begins not with a bang, but with a whisper, a name that struck terror into the heart of Victorian London: Jack the Ripper. In the grimy, gaslit alleys of Whitechapel in 1888, a series of gruesome murders began. The victims were women from the fringes of society, their deaths marked by a brutal, almost surgical precision that baffled investigators. The killer sent taunting letters to the police and the press, signing them with the chilling moniker that would become infamous. From hell, one letter began, accompanied by a piece of a human kidney. The Ripper's reign of terror was short, lasting only a few months, but his notoriety was explosive. Newspapers sensationalized the killings, creating a citywide panic. The police, led by Scotland Yard, were completely outmatched. They interviewed thousands, followed countless leads, but the killer remained a phantom. He moved through the foggy streets like a ghost, striking with terrifying efficiency and then vanishing without a trace. The investigation became a desperate race against time, but the killer was always one step ahead. The legend was cemented by the sheer mystery. After his final, most horrific crime, the slayings abruptly stopped. Jack the Ripper was never caught. His identity remains one of history's greatest unsolved enigmas. Was he a doctor with anatomical knowledge, a disgruntled royal, or just an ordinary man hiding an extraordinary evil? The case transformed police work, leading to modern forensic techniques, but the Ripper's true face remains lost to the shadows. It leaves us with a haunting question. How can a person inflict such horror upon a city and simply disappear? From the foggy streets of London, we travel across the Atlantic to the dusty roads of the American Midwest during the Great Depression. Here, a different kind of legend was born, one romanticized and feared in equal measure: Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie Parker was a small-town waitress with dreams of stardom. Clyde Barrow was a small-time crook hardened by prison. Together, they became the most famous outlaw couple in American history. Their rise to notoriety was fueled by the desperation of the times. They saw themselves not as criminals, but as rebels fighting against a broken system. They robbed banks, gas stations, and small stores. Their exploits splashed across the front pages of newspapers. What made them legendary wasn't just the crimes themselves, but the image they cultivated. Bonnie's poetry and their playful photographs found by police after a raid portrayed a life of glamour and adventure, a stark contrast to the poverty gripping the nation. They were young, in love, and on the run. Their crime spree was a 2-year tear across the central United States, a chaotic trail of stolen cars and deadly shootouts. The Barrow Gang, as they were known, became public enemy number one. Law enforcement, from local sheriffs to the fledgling FBI, launched a massive manhunt. The public was captivated, torn between condemnation and a strange sort of admiration for their audacity. But their life on the run was far from glamorous. It was a desperate, violent existence, always looking over their shoulder. Their downfall was as dramatic as their rise. On a quiet country road in Louisiana in May 1934, lawmen ambushed their Ford V8. The officers unleashed a deafening volley of gunfire, riddling the car and its infamous occupants with bullets. There was no final stand, no last words, just a sudden, brutal end. Bonnie and Clyde's story became a cautionary tale, a myth of rebellion and doomed love. Their impact was profound, blurring the lines between folk hero and villain. But as we look back at the chaos they left behind, we must ask, were they truly rebels with a cause or just cold-blooded killers wrapped in a romantic fantasy? Next, we delve into a case that feels like it was ripped from a Hollywood script, a puzzle that has captivated detectives and amateur sleuths for decades. On a crisp November evening in 1971, a man calling himself Dan Cooper boarded a flight from Portland to Seattle. He was quiet, dressed in a business suit, and carrying a black briefcase. Shortly after takeoff, he handed a note to a flight attendant. He had a bomb. His demands were simple: $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. The genius of D.B. Cooper's crime was its calm, calculated execution. After the plane landed in Seattle, his demands were met. The passengers were released and Cooper ordered the pilots to take off again, flying low and slow towards Mexico City. Somewhere over the rugged forested terrain of southwestern Washington, he did the unthinkable. He opened the rear air stair of the Boeing 727 and, with the ransom money strapped to his body, jumped out into the freezing night, into a thunderstorm, and into legend. An enormous investigation was launched, one of the longest and most exhaustive in FBI history. The military scoured the presumed drop zone, but found nothing. No body, no parachute, no briefcase. For years the case went cold. Then, in 1980, a young boy on a camping trip discovered 3 rotting bundles of $20 bills, their serial numbers matching the ransom money. The discovery only deepened the mystery. It was miles from the projected flight path, raising more questions than answers. Did he lose the money during the jump? Did he survive and bury it, never to return? D.B. Cooper was never identified. He became a folk hero, a symbol of sticking it to the man and getting away with it. Countless theories have emerged over the years, pointing to various suspects, but none have ever been proven. The FBI officially closed the active investigation in 2016, leaving the case unsolved. Cooper's daring skyjacking led to major changes in airline security, like the installation of Cooper vanes to prevent air stairs from being opened in flight. His legacy is one of pure, audacious mystery. He executed the perfect crime, but at what cost? Did he fall to his death in the wilderness, or did he live out his days as a rich, anonymous man, smiling at the legend he created? Our final story takes us to the sun-drenched coast of California, where a cryptic killer terrorized the northern part of the state in the late 1960s and early 70s. He gave himself a name that would become synonymous with fear, the Zodiac. This was no ordinary killer. He craved attention, taunting the police and the public with complex ciphers and chilling letters sent to newspapers. His message was clear: I am in control, and you will never catch me. The Zodiac's reign of terror began with a series of brutal, seemingly random attacks on young couples in secluded areas. His methods varied, using both guns and knives, adding to the climate of fear and unpredictability. But it was his communication that made him a legend. The letters, written in a distinct, menacing hand, contained details only the killer could know. They often began with the chilling line, "This is the Zodiac speaking." He included bizarre, coded messages, daring anyone to decipher them and reveal his identity. The investigation was a frustrating cat-and-mouse game. Police departments across multiple jurisdictions struggled to connect the dots. The ciphers were sent to the FBI and NSA, but only one of the 4 was definitively solved at the time. It revealed a disturbing message from the killer, claiming the people he'd killed would be his slaves in the afterlife. The Zodiac claimed to have killed 37 people, though investigators could only link him to 5 confirmed murders. The public was gripped by fear, and the killer seemed to revel in the chaos he had created. Then, as mysteriously as he appeared, the letters stopped, the Zodiac killer vanished. For decades, the case remained cold, a haunting open wound for the victims' families, and a source of endless fascination for armchair detectives. The case inspired books, movies, and a generation of codebreakers trying to crack his final secrets. It seemed he had gotten away with it. But then, a twist decades in the making. In 2020, a team of independent investigators claimed to have finally cracked his most notorious cipher. And in recent years, DNA evidence has pointed to potential suspects, though none have been conclusively named. The mystery of the Zodiac killer is a chilling reminder that sometimes the monster isn't a phantom, he's a person living among us, hiding in plain sight. And it begs the ultimate terrifying question: how many other legends walk among us, their stories just waiting to be told? These are the stories that stay with us, the crimes that define an era. They reveal the darkest corners of human nature and the tireless pursuit of justice. The legends may fade, but their mysteries endure. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the shadows. If you found these stories as captivating as we did, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. We have many more legends to explore. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.